If you think you've seen the best of America, think again. In this video, top 10 US farmlands so beautiful you won't believe they exist, we're exploring jaw-dropping landscapes that most people don't even know are part of the United States. These aren't your ordinary fields. They're cinematic, surreal, and so breathtaking they feel like scenes pulled from a fantasy film. Get ready for rolling hills that look hand-painted, valleys bursting with color, and countryside views so peaceful they instantly slow your heartbeat. This video reveals the hidden beauty most travelers miss, and once you see these places, you'll never look at American farmland the same way again. Whether you love nature, photography, travel, or simply discovering rare, unbelievable landscapes, this journey will leave you stunned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss more amazing places from Mr. Globe TV. Drop a comment and tell us which landscape amazed you the most. Number 10. Palouse, Washington. Palouse proves that farmland isn't always flat, predictable, or ordinary. Sometimes it's breathtaking, sculpted by nature, and so photogenic it challenges your idea of what the American countryside can look like. It's not just beautiful, it's so surreal you'd swear someone took a regular farm, stretched it, softened the edges, and then airbrushed everything with nature's version of a cinematic color grade. The rolling hills here don't behave like normal hills. They ripple, they wave, they fold across the land in a way that feels almost too perfect, as if the earth decided to try its hand at abstract art. What sets the Palouse apart is its shape. Those smooth, velvety hills were formed by winds thousands of years ago, blowing fine silt across the region, piling it into curves and swells that look more like a giant's playful doodles than geological history. The result is over 4,000 square miles of farmland that changes color with the seasons, green in spring, gold in summer, deep brown after the harvest, turning the entire region into a natural mood board. It's no accident that landscape photographers from around the world treat the Palouse like a pilgrimage site. If farmland had a red carpet moment, this would be it. And then there's golden hour. When the sun drops low, the light pours across the hills so perfectly that the shadows stretch and bend like they're choreographed. Even the wheat seems to glow on cue. You don't need a drone to make this place look magical, but if you do have one, prepare for photos so good your friends will assume you stole them from a travel magazine. But the Palouse isn't just easy on the eyes, it's a serious agricultural powerhouse. Wheat, lentils, barley, canola. This region quietly helps feed millions of people while looking stunning in the process. It's a rare mix, a place where beauty and productivity coexist so effortlessly that it almost feels unfair to every other farmland trying its best. Driving through the Palouse is its own experience. One minute you're surrounded by emerald hills that seem to swallow the road, and the next, you crest a ridge and see an entire patchwork quilt of farmland stretching to the horizon. It's peaceful in that calming, soul-resetting way. No big city noise, no visual clutter, just curves, colors, and sky. Number 9. Amish Country, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Lancaster County is the kind of farmland that makes you rethink your entire relationship with noise, speed, and convenience. It's peaceful, it's picturesque, and it somehow feels like stepping into a softer version of America. One where the Wi-Fi isn't fighting for its life, and life itself doesn't seem to be in such a hurry. What makes Amish country so visually striking isn't just the farmland, it's the way everything works together. The red barns, the open fields, the neat rows of crops, the horse-drawn buggies cruising down country roads like they're in their own traffic lane, it all creates a landscape that looks both timeless and incredibly beautiful. Lancaster's farmland is impressively productive. This region produces everything from dairy, to corn, to tobacco, to vegetables, all supported by some of the richest, most carefully maintained agricultural land in the eastern United States. The fields don't just look good, they work hard. Many are farmed using traditional Amish methods, meaning no loud machinery tearing up the quiet, no industrial sounds echoing across the valley. The result is a countryside that sounds as peaceful as it looks. Even the cows seem more relaxed here. The scenery is a study in order and harmony. You get long stretches of rolling farmland dotted with perfectly maintained silos, wooden fences, and farmhouses that look like they were lifted straight out of a storybook. The kind where butter is churned by hand and pies cool on windowsills. And yes, the sunsets here really do hit differently. The golden light spills over the fields in a way that makes everything look staged for a camera crew, except it's real, and it happens every evening. What really sets Lancaster County apart, though, is the culture woven into the land. The Amish community's simple, sustainable way of life shapes the entire landscape. You can watch a team of horses plowing a field, see laundry waving on long clotheslines, and pass children selling homemade goods at roadside stands, all while the farmland stretches out around you in quiet beauty. It's a reminder that not every beautiful place needs towering mountains or dramatic coastlines. Sometimes all it takes is rolling fields, careful craftsmanship, and a lifestyle that refuses to rush. Amish country proves that farmland can be breathtaking, in a calm, humble, deeply human way. It's a place where the scenery doesn't shout for your attention, it just invites you to slow down and actually look. And once you do, you're going to want to stay a little longer. Number 8. Willamette Valley, Oregon. The Willamette Valley is the kind of place that convinces you Oregon might actually be showing off on purpose. This region stretches gracefully between the Cascade Mountains and the Coast Range, and it has a habit of looking like someone ordered the premium countryside package and clicked every available upgrade. Soft green hills? Check. Endless vineyards? Check. Morning mist that makes the whole valley look like a fantasy map? Absolutely. What makes the Willamette Valley stand out isn't just the scenery. It's the sheer diversity of it. One minute you're driving past hazelnut orchards. Oregon grows 99% of America's supply, so yes, this is the nut capital. And the next, you're surrounded by vineyards that produce some of the world's most respected Pinot Noir. In between, you'll find berry farms, flower fields, dairyland, vegetable farms, and more shades of green than a painting class could handle. If farmland ever needed a resume, this valley's list of skills would run several pages long. And then, there's the atmosphere. Literally. Because of the valley's unique climate, you get this soft, filtered light that makes everything look gently polished. Even a standard row of crops has the audacity to look dramatic here. The morning fog drifts between the hills, giving the landscape a kind of cinematic slow reveal, while the afternoons settle into warm, golden tones perfect for showing off the vineyards. The entire region feels like it's permanently auditioning for a postcard. But beneath the beauty lies serious agricultural horsepower. The Willamette Valley is responsible for producing more than 170 different crops, from wine grapes to mint to hops to Christmas trees. And because of the rich volcanic soil, nearly everything that grows here thrives. Local farmers joke that you could drop a seed into the ground, walk away, and come back to a full salad. It's one of the most fertile agricultural regions in the country, and you can see that richness right in the landscape. There's an abundance to it that's almost visual. Small towns throughout the valley tie the whole scene together. Think tasting rooms, local farm stands, old barns held together by equal parts history and determination, and roads that wind through the fields like they're in no rush to get anywhere. There's a relaxed charm here that fits the scenery perfectly. Willamette Valley proves that farmland can be lush, elegant, wildly productive, and aesthetically unfair all at once. It's farmland with personality, farmland with range, the type of place that turns a simple drive into one of the prettiest experiences you can have without leaving the country. Number 7. Napa Valley Farmlands, California. Napa Valley has a reputation, and let's be honest, it earned it. Most people hear Napa and instantly think wine tasting, vineyard tours, and weekends spent pretending they can detect hints of blackberry and leather. But beneath the glamorous reputation lies one of the most stunning farmland landscapes in the entire United States. Napa Valley isn't just beautiful, it's the kind of beautiful that feels like nature and agriculture teamed up to create a joint masterpiece. The farmland here is shaped by vineyards that stretch across rolling hills in tight, flawless rows, almost like someone took a ruler and told the grapevines to behave. The symmetry alone is a visual treat. When the sun hits those rows at the right angle, the entire valley glows in a way that makes you question whether you're standing in a real place or an overly enthusiastic travel commercial. And depending on the season, the colors shift dramatically. Lush greens in spring, deep purples in late summer, and golden hues in fall that make the entire landscape look toasted to perfection. And let's talk scale. Napa Valley isn't giant, but it packs an absurd amount of beauty into its 30-mile stretch. More than 45,000 acres of farmland here are dedicated to grape growing, and those vineyards are managed with an attention to detail most people reserve for wedding plans or assembling furniture from IKEA. It shows in the landscape. Everything looks intentional, polished, and stunning from practically every viewpoint. But Napa Valley's beauty isn't just skin deep. Its farmland is rooted in a unique climate and soil blend known as terroir, a French word that basically means this land has superpowers. The combination of coastal breezes, morning fog, warm afternoons, and volcanic soil makes the valley ideal for growing world-class grapes. In fact, Napa produces only about 4% of California's wine, yet it accounts for a massive share of the state's reputation. That's what happens when your farmland operates at luxury brand level. Yet despite the fancy restaurants and high-end wineries, there's something remarkably peaceful about the valley. Drive off the main road and you'll find quiet country lanes, historic barns, family-owned farms, olive groves, and stretches of open land that feel far removed from the polished tourism scene. It's farmland that balances sophistication with calm, like the countryside equivalent of someone who dresses nicely but still knows how to relax. Napa Valley farmlands earn their place not just because they're beautiful, but because they combine natural charm, agricultural excellence, and postcard-perfect scenery in a way that feels effortlessly elegant. It's one of the rare places where the land itself feels curated, and yet it remains warm, inviting, and undeniably magical. Number 6. Flint Hills, Kansas. The Flint Hills are one of those places that remind you how wildly underrated the American Midwest really is. If you've ever assumed Kansas is nothing but flat farmland stretching into eternity, the Flint Hills are ready to tap you on the shoulder and say, actually, no. This region is a sweeping expanse of rolling tallgrass prairie, one of the last of its kind on Earth, and it delivers a kind of quiet, cinematic beauty that sneaks up on you and stays. Flint Hills farmland doesn't look like typical farmland at all. Instead of neat, squared-off fields and tractors buzzing around every corner, you get wide-open grasslands waving in the wind like the world's calmest ocean. During spring and early summer, the hills turn a green so vibrant it feels like the saturation got bumped up. By late summer, they shift into warm golden tones that stretch across the land in soft waves. It's simple, untouched beauty with a surprising amount of depth, literally and visually. The hills part isn't just a poetic name. These ridges and slopes formed from layers of chert, a super hard rock, which made plowing nearly impossible for early settlers. The result? The landscape stayed preserved instead of being converted into cropland like most of the Midwest. Today, the Flint Hills represent more than 4 million acres of native tallgrass, a staggering reminder of what much of Central America used to look like before fences, roads, and endless cornfields took over. But don't let the simplicity fool you. This area supports some of the most productive ranch lands in the country. The grass here is so nutrient-rich that cattle grazing has remained a major agricultural force for generations. And because the land isn't carved into small parcels, the scenery feels sweeping, wild, and honest, as if it somehow resisted the urge to become overly modern. Driving through the Flint Hills is an experience in perspective. With no towering mountains or crowded skylines to fight for attention, the horizon becomes the star. The sky looks bigger, the light hits differently, and the land seems to breathe at its own slow pace, offering the kind of peace you don't realize you needed until you get it. We're officially halfway through the countdown. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with this journey across America's most beautiful farmlands. If you're enjoying the adventure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video from Mr. Globe TV. Now let's move on to number 5. It only gets more stunning from here. Number 5. Texas Hill Country Ranchlands. Texas Hill Country has a way of surprising people, especially those who show up expecting endless flat desert, and instead find themselves staring at rolling hills, clear rivers, and farmland that looks like it wandered out of a nature documentary. This region blends agriculture, ranching, and raw natural beauty so seamlessly that the landscape feels like it's been expertly curated. And yet, it's all wonderfully, unapologetically Texan. Let's start with the ranchlands themselves. Stretching across central Texas, this area is home to some of the most scenic agricultural land in the state. Instead of long, uninterrupted stretches of crops, you get patchworks of open meadows, cattle pastures, oak woodlands, vineyards, and wildflower-covered fields, sometimes all in the same view. The hills rise and fall just enough to give the land dimension, and when the sun hits those slopes, the colors practically glow. It's farmland with personality, farmland with swagger, farmland that will casually show off every time spring rolls around. And speaking of spring, the wildflowers here put on a show that makes the entire region look like it hired a very enthusiastic landscaper. Bluebonnets, Indian paintbrush, buttercups, they pop up in massive waves throughout the ranchlands, turning quiet back roads into some of the most photogenic stretches in the country. People pull their cars over just to stare, and honestly, you can't blame them. When millions of flowers decide to perform at once, the least you can do is appreciate the effort. Beyond the beauty, these ranchlands are serious agricultural ground. Texas Hill Country supports everything from cattle ranching to sheep and goat operations to vineyards producing award-winning wines. Yes, Texas is making wine, and not just surprisingly good for Texas wine, but legitimately competitive bottles. The region's rocky limestone soil and warm climate give the ranchlands a distinct agricultural character that keeps farmers and ranchers busy while keeping the scenery stunning. Then there's the atmosphere. Hill Country has this laid-back, rustic charm that makes you feel like time stretches differently here. Small towns with historic squares pop up between the hills, offering farm stands, local markets, and the occasional barbecue joint that confidently claims to have the best brisket in the state. The winding ranch roads themselves are worth the trip. Every curve reveals a new view, a new ridge, a new spread of land that looks too peaceful to rush past. Number 4. Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. Shenandoah Valley is the kind of place that makes you involuntarily exhale the moment you arrive. It's spacious, serene, and so effortlessly picturesque that even a random roadside barn somehow looks like it belongs on a greeting card. Surrounded by the Blue Ridge Mountains on one side and the Alleghenies on the other, this valley seems specifically designed for dramatic farmland views. The kind that make you wonder why you ever put up with crowded cities and loud traffic. This isn't just rolling farmland, it's farmland with stage lighting. Mornings begin with soft fog drifting through the valley, settling between fields, hills, and farmhouses like nature's version of a cozy blanket. As the sun rises, the fog burns away and reveals a patchwork of cornfields, orchards, dairy farms, and hay meadows that stretch farther than the eye can comfortably measure. Every hour brings a new mood. Golden morning, bright afternoon, moody dusk, Shenandoah cycles through scenic phases like it's auditioning for a tourism commercial. Agriculturally, this valley pulls its weight. It's one of the most productive farming regions in the eastern U.S., known for apples, poultry operations, cattle, and a growing number of vineyards. In fact, the region produces apples so consistently that Virginia is one of the top apple-producing states in the country. And then there's the valley's soil, rich, fertile, and worked by generations of farmers who know exactly how to draw the best from it. Driving through Shenandoah is its own therapy session. Small towns with names you'll want to write down pop up between the hills. Places with traditional markets, roadside farm stands, and friendly locals who consider sweet corn and fresh cider practical love languages. The farms here aren't flashy or oversized. They're steady, welcoming, and deeply rooted in the land. What sets Shenandoah apart from other farmlands is the backdrop. The mountains don't just frame the scenery, they elevate it. Their presence adds scale and drama to every farm view, turning simple fields into sweeping vistas. Even routine chores like feeding livestock or checking fences probably feel cinematic when you're standing between two mountain ranges. Shenandoah Valley proves that farmland can be both productive and impossibly beautiful. It's a place where the landscape slows you down, resets your brain, and quietly reminds you that nature, even when it's busy growing apples and raising cattle, can still look genuinely magical. Number 3. Skagit Valley, Washington. Skagit Valley is what happens when farmland decides it wants to be famous. While most agricultural regions stay humble and stick to greens, browns, and maybe a little gold if they're feeling fancy, Skagit Valley goes all in on color. This region is best known for its tulip farms, huge, perfectly organized fields that explode into bright reds, yellows, purples, and pinks each spring. It's so stunning that people travel from around the world just to stare at flowers and say things like, "There's no way this is real." And, honestly, you can't blame them. But tulips are just the opening act. Skagit Valley farmland is some of the richest in the country, thanks to centuries of sediment washed down from local rivers. That means the soil here isn't just fertile, it's practically overachieving. Farmers grow everything from potatoes and berries to cabbage, carrots, and some of the biggest looking cauliflower you'll ever see. If vegetables had a gym membership, this is where they'd train. The scenery is surprisingly dramatic for a farmland region. You get wide-open fields with the massive North Cascades sitting in the background, like silent, snow-capped bodyguards. On clear days, Mount Baker stands tall on the horizon, giving every farmland photo a built-in postcard upgrade. And because this is Washington, there's always a little mist, a little cloud cover, or a dramatic beam of sunlight breaking through. Nature's own special effects department. Skagit Valley also has a charming rhythm to it. Seasons actually feel like seasons. Spring brings the tulip bloom, summer fills the markets with produce, fall brings pumpkin patches and golden fields, and winter, well, winter reminds everyone that Washington is still Washington. But even then, the farmland has a quiet beauty that feels grounding. What really makes Skagit Valley special is the way the agricultural landscape blends seamlessly with the community. Small towns like Mount Vernon and La Conner are dotted with bakeries, local markets, and farm-to-table restaurants that treat fresh produce like treasure. You'll find roadside stands selling berries so good they'll ruin grocery store fruit for you forever. Skagit Valley stands out because it's farmland with flair. It's fertile, productive, and visually stunning, and it has the audacity to put on a world-class flower show every year just because it can. Whether you're into agriculture, photography, or simply bright colors arranged in satisfying rows, this valley delivers beauty that truly feels unbelievable. Number 2. Snake River Farmlands, Idaho. Snake River Farmlands in Idaho are a reminder that farmland doesn't have to be gentle, flat, or predictable to be beautiful. Here, the scenery pulls off a kind of dramatic double act. Rugged canyon cliffs on one side, wide-open irrigated fields on the other, and the winding Snake River cutting through it all like nature's signature. It's the kind of farmland that makes you pause because you're not entirely sure whether you're looking at an agricultural powerhouse or the set of a Western movie. What makes this region so visually striking is the contrast. Idaho's farmland is incredibly productive, but instead of the typical soft hills or calm meadows, these fields sit alongside basalt cliffs, ancient lava flows, deep river gorges, and plains that stretch out in long, sweeping layers. The land has texture, actual visible texture, and the result is scenery that feels bold and dramatic, even on a quiet day. When the sun moves across the valley, the canyon's shadows shift like slow-moving spotlights across the fields. Thanks to the Snake River and an extensive irrigation system, this region supports some of the most successful agriculture in the Northwest. Potatoes may be the celebrity here, and let's be honest, Idaho milks that fame proudly, but the farmland grows far more. Barley, sugar beets, beans, onions, corn, and alfalfa all thrive in the volcanic-rich soil. The combination of nutrient-dense earth and consistent water supply turns this rugged region into an agricultural workhorse. And then there's the Snake River itself. The reason all of this is possible. It snakes, appropriately, through miles of farmland, creating green corridors of life across landscapes that would otherwise be dry and lonely. Stand on one of the canyon overlooks and you can see exactly how the farmland hugs the river, forming a striking contrast between bright green crops and dark, rocky cliffs. It's a view that's stunning without asking for permission. The farmland towns that surround the Snake River add their own charm. Small agricultural communities, historic barns, and quiet rural roads give the region a grounded, everyday beauty. But just when you think you've settled into a peaceful farmland mindset, you turn a corner and suddenly there's a canyon so deep it looks like it's trying to make a dramatic point. The Snake River farmlands stand out because they combine raw natural drama with rich agricultural productivity. It's farmland that doesn't fit the stereotype. Farmland with edges, cliffs, curves, and a river that brings everything to life. It's beautiful, surprising, and just unreal enough to make you stop and stare a little longer than you planned. Number 1. Vermont's Green Mountain Farms. Vermont's Green Mountain Farms are the kind of landscapes that make you reconsider whether you've been giving the word beautiful way too freely. This region isn't just pretty, it's unfairly pretty. Think rolling pastures framed by mountains, classic red barns standing confidently like they're ready for their magazine cover, maple trees that burst into fiery color in fall, and dairy farms that look so wholesome you half expect to see them in a children's storybook. Vermont's farmland is wholesome, photogenic, and effortlessly cinematic all at once. What makes this region especially stunning is the backdrop. The Green Mountains stretch along the spine of the state, giving farms a natural frame that turns even simple hayfields into dramatic vistas. It doesn't matter if you're in a valley, on a winding country road, or standing next to a fence watching cows mind their own business. The mountains make everything look intentional, composed, almost artistic. And let's talk about color. Vermont changes outfits every season like it's auditioning for America's Next Top Landscape. In spring, the fields glow bright green. Summer brings full, lush pastures dotted with dairy cows, gardens, and wildflowers. Autumn is Vermont's victory lap. The reds, oranges, and golds transform the farmland into one of the most photographed fall landscapes in the country. Even winter, with its soft snow blankets and quiet barns, has a calming beauty that's practically meditative. But this isn't just a pretty place to take pictures. Vermont's farmland pulls its weight. The state is known for dairy, especially those iconic small family farms that produce the milk behind famous cheeses, and of course, Vermont maple syrup. The rich soil and careful stewardship of the land mean that farms here remain productive, while still maintaining that postcard-perfect charm. It's one of the rare places where agriculture feels timeless, rather than industrial. There's also a simplicity to Vermont farm culture that gives the scenery its warmth. You'll find roadside farm stands selling produce on the honor system, farmers waving as you pass, and little towns where everything seems designed to slow your heartbeat. The land feels personal here, cared for, respected, and deeply rooted in generations of family history. Vermont's Green Mountain Farms rise above the rest because they offer something truly magical. Farmland that feels alive, peaceful, and beautiful in every season. It's not dramatic like canyons or showy like tulip fields. It's quietly breathtaking, the kind of beauty you grow into the longer you stay. And that brings us to the end of our countdown. Thank you so much for watching and taking this journey through America's most beautiful farmlands. These landscapes prove that the U.S. countryside isn't just productive, it's a treasure trove of natural wonder. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another adventure from Mr. Globe TV. Drop a comment below and tell us which farmland surprised you the most, and which one you'd love to see in person.